American travelers don't just visit European restaurants. They perform a live, often unwitting, stress test on a 1,000-year-old cultural operating system. And the system always wins. This isn't about picky eaters or bad service. This is about the fundamental, philosophical crack that appears when two diametrically opposed dining ideologies sit down at the same table. On one side, the American cult of customization, choice, and convenient abundance. On the other, the European temple of craft, tradition, and intentional experience. I've spent years observing the precise, often hilarious moments when these worlds collide, from the battle over a menu to the war for the check. Today, we're going to dissect why these simple acts of eating and drinking abroad can feel so profoundly disorienting, and what it reveals about our deepest cultural programming. The conflict begins before the first bite, with a document Americans see as a friendly suggestion, but Europeans treat as a binding contract. In the United States, the menu is an engineering schematic. It's a list of components: proteins, carbs, sauces, sides awaiting your personal assembly. This is the legacy of a vast, diverse nation built on mass production and personal freedom. You can have the burger, but on a gluten-free bun, with turkey instead of beef. No onion, extra pickle, and a side salad swapped for sweet potato fries. The kitchen is a workshop fulfilling your bespoke order. It's dining as democracy, now cross the Atlantic. In a centuries-old Parisian bistro, the menu is not a schematic. It is a manifesto. It is the chef's curated statement for the evening, a reflection of the market, the season, and a specific culinary tradition. When a couple from Dallas receives a single, elegant card listing 5 starters and 5 mains, they wait for the rest. "This is lovely," the wife says. "Now can we see the full menu?" The waiter, a man whose life has been spent in the shadow of the tour, d'Argent, blinks. "Madame, this is it." The husband intervenes. "Right, but where's the section for substitutions? The create-your-own pasta build." The waiter's smile doesn't falter, but his eyes harden slightly. Monsieur, the chef, has already created it. What follows is a surreal negotiation. They attempt to deconstruct canard à l'orange can, the duck bee chicken. Can the orange sauce be a peppercorn demi-glace? Can the pommes puree be frite? Each request is met with a polite, implacable non-us. Their final, frustrated salvo, "But we're paying customers," meets the foundational European retort. You are paying for what is written, not for what is in your imagination. They eat the duck in a state of mild grievance, feeling cheated of a basic consumer right. They have mistaken a chef's vision for a lack of options. If the menu is the first front, the beverage order is where cultural theology clashes. Let's start with water, the elemental substance. In America, tap water at a restaurant table is as unquestioned as air. It's a public utility, a free baseline, a human right rendered in liquid form. It arrives unbidden, iced, and refilled by an invisible hand. In Madrid, an American woman asks for "just tap water, please." The waiter's response is a polite binary: con gas, o sin gas, still or sparkling. She clarifies, from the tap. The sink. He shakes his head gently. "We do not serve that. We have bottled water." She hears extortion. She draws a breath, preparing to deliver a miniature UN declaration on hydration equity. "Water," she says slowly, pedagogically, "should be free." The waiter, who has navigated this strait 100 times, nods. "The air is free, madam. The water is €2. T is not selling H2O. He is selling the service of guaranteed, palatable, often locally sourced bottled water in a region where the plumbing might be ancient and the taste of chlorine a variable." She sees a scam. He sees standard practice. The meal proceeds under a cloud. The bottle is emptied, yet on principle, she insists she didn't drink it because she was so offended. The waiter, with the quiet fatalism of a philosopher, adds it to the bill anyway. The empty bottle becomes a trophy in a war of conflicting fundamental truths. Then, there is coffee. I'd a drink, but a creed. In an espresso bar in Florence, a man from Seattle requests a grande iced latte. Skim, with 2 pumps of vanilla. The barista, a custodian of a caffeinated religion that predates his nation, processes this as syntactic noise. We do not have this, he states. The American, using flawless inductive logic, points. You have espresso. You have milk. You have a refrigerator with ice. Therefore, you can make an iced latte. The barista stands firm. That is not how we make coffee here. The customer's desire is irrelevant to the liturgy. A 5-minute debate ensues on global standards and customer-centric service. Defeated, the barista produces a tragic compromise: a lukewarm espresso drowned in cold milk with 3 forlorn ice cubes. The man sips. This tastes nothing like Starbucks. A barista's slight, weary nod is the entire response. Exactly. This isn't about being difficult. It's the sound of a personalized consumption model crashing into a wall of protected tradition. The American relationship with food is often quantitative. Value is measured in physical abundance, in the heft of the portion, in the glorious possibility of leftovers, second, free meal encoded within the price of the first. It's the economics of plenty. Now observe a restaurant in Copenhagen, where the new Nordic philosophy emphasizes purity, seasonality, and precise satisfaction. A beautifully arranged piece of pan-seared cod with foraged herbs and a drizzle of emulsion arrives. It is a masterpiece of minimalism. The diner from Ohio enjoys it but is physically full halfway through. She smiles at the waiter. Could I get a box for this, please? The waiter's polite smile doesn't shift, but a micro-expression of confusion flashes. A box. Yes, to take the rest home. He pauses, genuinely needing to reconfigure his understanding of the request. We do not offer boxes for takeaway, madam. Her smile falters. But I paid for it. Yes, he agrees calmly. And you have eaten what you wished. The portion was designed to be complete here at the table. She is aghast. To her, this is wasteful and financially irrational. She paid for 300 grams of fish. She wants all 300 grams, even if it takes 2 sittings. To him, the request is an indictment. It suggests the kitchen profoundly miscalculated, neither serving too much or creating a dish that doesn't compel you to finish it now. At the peak of its creation, the idea of a doggy bag is alien. It transforms art into mere fuel to be refrigerated. She may leave with leftovers wrapped in foil, begged from the kitchen, feeling virtuous and thrifty. He watches her go, silently mourning the fate of his chef's carefully crafted emulsion, now destined for a microwave. This clash over enough extends into the very laws that govern safety in the U.S. The mantra "the customer is always right" empowers personal preference, often to the point of overriding established protocol. In Europe, certain rules are non-negotiable, rooted in deep-seated codes of safety, craft, or social agreement. Enter a traditional Gasthaus in Vienna. A man orders the house burger. Medium rare, please. The waiter responds, I am sorry, sir. In Austria, by law, minced meat must be cooked through thoroughly. It will be well done. The customer's brow furrows. I understand, but I prefer it medium. That's how I always have it. The waiter is unyielding. It is the law. The customer, feeling his agency stripped, requests the chef. The chef, a man with forearms like cured hams, emerges. He repeats the law. But my preference, the American insists, invoking the sacred right of choice. The chef delivers the perfect, deadpan rebuttal, and my preference is not to poison my guests. The man eats his well-done burger in a state of profound grievance. He has not encountered bad service or poor quality. He has encountered a system where his individual preference is subordinate to a collective safety standard. He interprets this as tyranny, not prudence. The architecture of the meal itself, pacing and social DNA, creates another layer of misunderstanding. Dining in many European cultures is a scripted social ritual, not just a caloric intake event. In Barcelona, a couple sits at a tapas bar. They order, "We'll have 4 orders of patatas bravas, 4 of croquetas, 2 of gambas, AJILLO ... The waiter interrupts gently. "Are more friends joining you?" "No, just us. We're hungry." He tries to explain. Tapas are to share, to try many small things, to order as you go, with drinks. They wave him off. "We don't really share food. And can you bring it all out at once?" "We're in a bit of a hurry." The waiter's soul sighs. He has been asked to turn a flowing, conversational, shared experience into a solitary, simultaneous fuel dump. The table becomes a chaotic landing zone of small plates, overwhelming and ironically isolating. They are soon annoyed. Why is everything so small? They complain, missing the entire point. The smallness is the feature. It enables variety, conversation, and a prolonged social engagement. They wanted a meal. They were offered a movable feast and tried to nail it to the table. They leave complaining the restaurant tricked them into ordering too much, a perfect inversion of the intended experience. This friction with time is perhaps the most profound disconnect of all. American culture is engineered for velocity. Time is a commodity to be saved, optimized, and monetized. Dining is often a task nestled between other tasks. Service, therefore, is a performance of efficiency, constant drink refills, preemptive check-ins, the bill presented almost before the last bite is swallowed. It's a dance of seamless transaction. European dining, particularly in the South, operates on a different axis. Time is not an adversary to be conquered, but a medium to be savored. The meal is the main event, not an intermission. The waiter is not a hustling concierge of your needs, but a guardian of the experience's rhythm. This difference manifests in the most agonizing moment for an American. Abroad, getting the check. Seen a cliffside restaurant in Nice. A couple finishes their dessert. They are satiated, happy, and ready to move on to their next planned activity. They set their forks down in the universal signal of, "We are done." And then they wait. Their waiter is across the room, discussing the local rows with another table. He is not ignoring them. He is respecting the sacred postprandial pause. To him, approaching with the bill the moment the plates are clean is the height of rudeness. Sit screams, "Get out." 5 minutes pass. The American couple begins fidgeting. They make eye contact with the waiter. He smiles and nods, but does not move. 8 minutes. The husband starts miming a scribble in the air. Finally, after 10 full minutes, the waiter glides over. "Is everything to your satisfaction?" "Yes, it was great. Can we get the check, please?" The waiter looks mildly surprised. "But of course. You are in no rush, I hope." He leaves to prepare the bill. Slowly. To the Americans, this feels like incompetence or passive aggression. To the waiter, their haste feels graceless, a refusal to luxuriate in the experience they just paid for. Both parties leave, feeling the other was deeply inconsiderate. This temporal dissonance even governs operating hours, leading to utter bewilderment. In a 24/7 American city, a restaurant's closing time is often soft. If you walk in near closing, you might get a sympathetic sigh, but you'll likely be fed. The machine is built to serve in Brussels. An American businessman finishes a late meeting. It's 9:55 p.m. He finds a charming brasserie, its lights still on. He enters and asks for a table. The host greets him warmly, then delivers the news. "I am sorry, monsieur. The kitchen has just closed. The man is incredulous. But it's not even 10. I just want a steak frite. The host offers genuine sympathy. The chefs have finished their service. They have gone home. What follows is a negotiation that feels like it's happening in different languages. The man invokes logic. You're still open. I'm a customer. I'm willing to pay. The host invokes humanity. The people who cook the food have left. We are not machines. The American offers compromises. Just a simple omelet. A salad. The host, who cannot materialize a chef from the ether, can only offer bread and perhaps some cheese from the bar. The man leaves, frustrated, and writes a review about inflexible European service. He has encountered a system where labor is not an infinitely flexible resource, and a restaurant is a workshop of people, not a service vending machine. Underpinning all these clashes is a deeper psychological divergence in the very purpose of the restaurant visit at its heart. The American restaurant model is a high-touch service transaction. The customer is the sun. The staff orbits around them, anticipating needs, validating choices, facilitating a smooth, efficient consumption event. The goal is satisfaction, defined as getting exactly what I wanted, quickly, abundantly, and with my autonomy affirmed. Tipping a complex. Performance-based gratuity is the financial engine of this attentive theater. The classic European model is closer to a craft ritual. The customer is a guest entering the chef's or the tradition's domain. The goal is to experience something curated, the taste of a region, the skill of a master, the rhythm of a local custom. The waiter is your guide to this domain, not your servant. Their respect is shown through professional distance and expertise, not constant interference. The price on the menu includes this experience and a living wage. A small tip is a token of extra appreciation, not a negotiated fee for basic attention. When these two models collide, each side misinterprets the other's signals. American warmth is seen as European coldness. European respect for space is seen as American neglect. So, is there a way to navigate this invisible war? The solution isn't for Europeans to install soda fountains or for Americans to stop liking ice. It's about a shift in mindset. Traveling in Europe, consider that you are not a consumer hiring a service, but a guest being offered an experience. See the menu as a tour guide, not a build sheet. Let the chef guide you. Order the thing you don't recognize. Understand that service means competence and respect, not relentless affirmation. Your waiter is not ignoring you. They are trusting you to signal when you need them. View time at the table not as downtime, but as the core activity. The pause is part of the meal. Accept that rules around food safety, preparation, and even beverage times are part of a deep cultural logic, not personal obstinacy. This isn't about surrendering your preferences. It's about gaining a richer experience. The joy of a European meal often lies in the surrender to the rhythm, the tradition, the expertise of the place you're in. You might discover that the fixed menu contains a revelation, that the espresso after dinner really does aid digestion, and that sitting for 20 minutes with no agenda after eating can be a rare and beautiful form of luxury. If this deep dive into the unspoken rules of the European table has made your past travels make new sense, or has you looking at your next trip differently, then you understand what we do here at Winds of Thought. We map the invisible geography of human culture. If you value these insights, please support the channel by liking this video, the single most powerful way to help us continue this work. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next week we're decoding the silent language of Scandinavian social interaction. Thanks for watching, and remember, when in Rome, don't ask for a to-go box for the carbonara.